Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, coming at you with my hands-on and first impressions video of the Nokia 2.3. So let's get started. So this is the Nokia 2.3. It's a new budget phone from Nokia, and in fact, this is the first time I've ever owned a Nokia phone, so I'm very excited about that as well. I did buy this over on eBay. It's not yet available on Amazon, but as soon as it is available on Amazon, I will be updating the link in the video description so that you can check it out. Now I paid $139.99 for the phone. I'm not sure if that's the official price tag for it or not. So again, certainly make sure to check out the link in the video description to see what it's currently being offered for. But here is the box. You can see we have the Nokia branding up front here, Nokia 2.3 in the corner, and then the Android logo as well. And then on the back of the box, we have some more details about the phone. You can see Android 10 ready. Now what's interesting is that despite this phone being an Android 1 device, which in theory means that it should get Android 10 updates very quickly, my device still has Android 9 Pie. So kind of frustrating there. Not sure why, but hopefully it gets Android 10 pretty soon. But we'll lift the lid here. And I already set up the phone and everything for the sake of saving some time. I also put my Cricket SIM card in the device. So here is the actual phone itself. Now this color is the gold color. You can also get it in both charcoal and green. So you'll have to pick whichever color you prefer. But I thought this gold color was pretty cool. We'll see what else is in the box here. We have a SIM card removal tool, which is helpful to have. We have a Nokia wall adapter. We have a micro USB cable for charging and data transfer. So unfortunately, this phone does have micro USB. And it looks like we just have some literature, including a quick start guide and a product and safety info booklet. So we'll put that all off to the side right now and take a closer look at the phone itself. And here is the phone. So the Nokia 2.3 is a GSM unlocked phone. So in the US, it's going to work with AT&T and T-Mobile, as well as all the various other carriers under those carriers. This is a single SIM device, but does offer a slot for micro SD card expansion. Possibly in other markets, they might be selling this phone dual SIM. I just know that my phone is a single SIM device. Now with the phone, we're getting a very large 6.2-inch display. This is an LCD display at 720p. It features a PPI of 272, and we're getting a 19:9 aspect ratio. In addition to that, we're getting an 80.7% screen-to-body ratio, which is pretty average. Now we do have a water drop notch at the top of the device here, and it does also feature face unlock. I think you can probably see a little blinking light there, and I believe that is part of the face unlock mechanism. Towards the bottom of the device, we have a little bit of a thicker bottom bezel with the Nokia branding right there. But overall, I think it's a pretty good looking phone. I do like that it does feature a 6.2-inch display, and the display itself is very crisp and clear. So everything looks really nice here, and like I mentioned before, you are getting Android 1, which means that you're essentially getting stock Android with this phone. Now up top here, we're getting a 5-megapixel front-facing camera. With the phone, we're getting 32 gigabytes of internal storage, with 18 of those 32 gigs being usable storage. And then, like I mentioned earlier, you're also getting an SD card expansion slot. The phone does not have wireless charging. It also does not have a fingerprint sensor, which is a bit disappointing, but it does feature face unlock like I mentioned before. And in fact, I haven't even set that up yet, so let's do that right now. So to set up face unlock, I'm going to add my PIN here, and then I'm going to add face data, and then we'll get started. So it's scanning my face right now, registering me into the system here. So a pretty easy setup. And the face data has now been added. So we'll continue here, and now I'll try it out. So it works pretty well. I don't think I registered my face quite as well as I could have just because of this recording setup here. But essentially, face unlock is Nokia's answer to not having a fingerprint sensor on the back. So I'm interested to know if you think not having a fingerprint sensor is a deal breaker or not. I certainly wish the phone had it. I don't think it really adds a whole lot of expense to the build and design of the device, but I'm also not an engineering expert. Now on the back side, we're getting a 13-megapixel main camera and a 2-megapixel secondary camera. So you are getting portrait mode with both the rear and front cameras, which is great to see. With the phone, we're getting 2 gigabytes of RAM and the MediaTek Helio A22 processor. So neither of those two specifications are too impressive, But let's see what kind of Antutu benchmark test score you should expect to get with the phone. And it looks like I got a total score of 74469. So not the best score ever, but thankfully with Android One, it seems like this device really does perform well and works very smoothly. Overall, it's a smooth experience with minimal hiccups, at least from my experience of using the phone so far. Now, video recording with the Nokia 3.2 maxes out at 1080p for both the front and rear cameras. We're getting a beefy 4000 milliamp hour internal battery with the phone. And then, like I mentioned earlier, it's supposed to get Android 10 eventually, but at the moment the phone does run Android 9 Pie, and it is the Android One edition of Pie. And I actually just finished doing a software update very recently, but you can see here it says your system is up to date, but it is Android 9 Pie. But the good news though is that we are at the January 5th, 2020 security patch. So a pretty recent security patch with the phone, so I suppose that's better than nothing, but I am a bit disappointed that despite this device having Android One and having the promise on the back of the box to get Android 10, that it doesn't have it so far, and we're about 2/3 of the way through January. Now, as far as the hardware goes, I think it's a pretty attractive phone. We are, of course, getting that 6.2-inch display here on the front that I think looks sharp. And by the way, if you want to download any of the wallpapers that I feature in this video and any future videos, they are wallpapers that I made on my own, and you can go to kevinbreeze.com/wallpapers to download them. Now, taking a look at the left side of the phone, we have the slot for the microSD card and SIM card. We also have the button for Google Assistant. So when you tap on that button, it does pull up Google Assistant, which is pretty cool and definitely convenient if you use that feature quite a bit on your current phone. Then on the right side, we have the power button and volume button. Then on the top of the phone, we have the 3.5mm headphone jack. And then on the bottom, we have the microphone, we have the speaker, and we have the micro USB port for charging and data transfer. So it would have been nice to see USB-C on this device, no doubt. I'm a bit disappointed that it is micro USB. That's definitely something that I don't like seeing on phones, but I suppose at this price range, it's something that I can live with. And then on the back side of the device, we have the dual camera module, we have the flash, and the Nokia logo. So a very simplistic setup here on the rear, but I really do like this gold color. I think it looks really nice. Now, in case you're wondering, you cannot remove the back of this phone. So even though it is one giant piece, it is fixed in place, and there wouldn't really be anything to access anyway. But it is a pretty interesting design, kind of a boxier look and build here, but it does feel like a very high quality device, despite it being very entry level. Of course, I need some quality time with this phone before giving you my full review, but so far it seems like the cameras is one of the biggest positives with this phone. It takes pretty nice looking selfies for a device in this price range, and it is cool as well that you can take photos with portrait mode. You can take those pretty easily as well, and it has to process that portrait mode. So we'll take a look at that photo right now. So not bad, definitely not bad at all. And in the full review video, I'll show you actual photo and video samples from the device. So definitely look forward to that. Now we'll flip over to the rear camera as well. And definitely a nice responsive camera, but so far it looks pretty decent, especially for a phone in this price range. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting out there and taking a bunch of different pictures and videos. And then on the bottom, we have the microphone, the USB-C port for charging and data transfer, and the speaker. So there is no 3.0. So this is a pretty decent phone for watching YouTube videos. Of course, having that large 6.2-inch display certainly helps, and videos look nice and crisp and clear. You are limited, of course, to watching video at 720p with this phone, since it is a 720p device. So keep that in mind. Now, if you're curious about the size of the Nokia 2.3 compared to another popular smartphone, here it is right next to the iPhone 11. You can see it's a bit larger than that device, but the bezels certainly are bigger on the bottom of the Nokia 2.3. So as I mentioned earlier, I certainly want to spend some quality time with the Nokia 2.3 before coming up with my final conclusions about it. But so far, I'm not really that impressed with it, especially if the real price for it is $139.99. Now, like I mentioned earlier, it's not even on Amazon yet, so it's definitely possible that the final price for the phone will be cheaper than that, but it's certainly lacking quite a few features that I would expect to see in this price range. First thing is that it should certainly have a fingerprint sensor, which it doesn't have, so I wish it had that. The second disappointment is that the phone still has Android 9 Pie, despite being an Android One phone, and also saying that it's Android 10 ready on the back of the box. It is cool that they've managed to update this to the latest security patch, but seriously, come on, where's Android 10? Please give us Android 10, this is ridiculous. And then my final disappointment with this phone is that it only has 2 gigs of RAM. Certainly needs to have at least 3, especially if it's going to be above 120 bucks. And the MediaTek Helio A22 is nothing special. I think it would have been nice if it had at least a Helio P35. That would have been great to see. But at least it seems like the software is very well optimized with the phone. Now, as far as the things that I like so far, I like the camera quality. That seems pretty good. I certainly want to get out there and take photos outdoors to get a better idea of how good it is. I also like the build quality of the phone. The display looks nice as well. And then finally, I appreciate that the phone does feature a 4,000 milliamp hour internal battery, which is a pretty beefy battery. But if you do want to purchase this phone right now, take a look at the link in the video description. I am going to be making more videos about this, of course, in the future, in addition to the full review. I want to compare this to the Xiaomi Redmi 8A, because that's a pretty similar phone that I feel like a lot of people will be putting this up against. But again, thanks for watching, everyone. This is Kevin here. This is the Nokia 2.3. But thanks for watching, everyone. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.